All right, guys, welcome to section 3 of chapter 3. In this section, we're going to talk about something that I love, and it is hiring. Okay. One of the best things to do when you're a business owner is to offer employment to people that need it or people that want it, people that are going to enjoy it and be thankful for it. Okay. So this section I call hiring loyalty over talent because I found after hiring hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of employees, and a lot of them being in managerial positions, that you have to hire people that are loyal. You know, a lot of times you hear people saying that, hey, just hire somebody that you like, that you can see yourself working with. Um, After hiring as many people as I have in the last 13 plus years, I'll tell you right now that you do not want to hire just people that you like. That's not how it works. And I'm going to explain why. So let's jump right into this, guys. Really, I get asked this a lot. You know, how do I hire amazing people who will care about my business just as much, if not more, than I do? You know, and that is possible, right? Or how do I hire people that are going to actually care about the business over just getting a paycheck? Okay, so that's what we're going to go over. In order to do that, I hire off of a few things. So let me go ahead and draw this. So I have a 5-step process in hiring that I'm going to share right now. Okay. The first thing that I look for when I hire. Okay. Okay. 5 steps. Step number 1. Okay. I hire by position. Okay. I make sure that whoever it is, that they're going to fit the position that I'm hiring for. Sounds simple, but again, I'm going to get into this and go pretty deep so that you guys understand that it's a pretty complex process, but it spits out exactly who you want to be in each position. Okay, so position is very important. The next thing that I look for is personality. Okay, and this isn't just me spending time with somebody and saying, oh, hey, this guy has a good personality. I use things that are scientifically backed, so that we know exactly what personality this person is and whether or not they would fit the position that we're hiring for. Okay, number third, I look for loyalty. Okay, and again, I'm going to go through these guys, so don't worry, I'm going to break down each one of these. Okay, next, I look for industry. Oh my gosh, I can't draw. Experience. Okay. I don't want people that are just good managers. I need to know that they're good managers in the industry that I am hiring for. Okay. You can't manage a gym and then come and think that you can manage a construction crew, right? Very different. Okay. Number 5, last one is cognitive ability. Okay. And specifically, I look for people who have strong cognitive ability, the ability to be able to solve problems quickly without the need for them to call me every time something goes wrong. Okay. That's very important as an owner of a company because you want to make sure that people are able to solve problems. Okay. So cognitive ability is the last one. So let's break this down. Okay. So for the first one, it is position. Okay. So we'll go ahead and talk about these things one by one. Okay. First one again is position. Um, if anybody watches the show, the Prophet on, I think it's on NBC, but in any case, his name is the host of the show is Marcus Lemonis. Okay, he's a venture capitalist, so he invests money into people's businesses if he likes it, but he normally comes in and he helps fix processes, people, and all that or whatnot. And he teaches that there are 3 P's in business. Okay, and he said these 3 P's are very important for a business to be able to thrive: people, product, okay, and processes. And if you watch his show, you'll see that most of the time, businesses have good people, they have a good or pretty decent product, but their processes are all out of whack. So he normally comes in and helps people fix processes. Um, I'm actually going to say that this is, to me, is not really full, because I want to add this fourth P that I think is just as important as every other one, and that is position. Okay. Meaning where people are placed in this company, right? Because you can have the right people in an organization, you can have the right product in an organization, you can have the right processes, but I believe that if those people are not put in the right position, you will not succeed. And you have to know how to put people in certain positions for them to excel, going off of their personality, cognitive ability, all the things that we're going to talk about here in the next little bit. So let me talk about position, okay? And let me bring this home, because all I have to do is, it's easiest for me to explain this with a story, or with an example on why position is so important. So if I asked you guys today, for those of you guys who know football, okay, so I'm going to draw a line here, and we're going to talk about position and why position is so important. For everybody that knows anything about football, they know that the best football team out there in the last decade in the NFL has been the New England Patriots. Okay, whether you like it or not, and I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan, but the New England Patriots have proven to be the best NFL team in the last decade. They keep winning championships. So, and for those of you guys who don't like football, bear with me. I'm just gonna explain one concept here so we all understand what's going on. Okay, so everybody knows in football, okay, you have certain positions, right? You have certain positions. And one of the most important positions in football is the quarterback position. Okay. And a lot of people know who this guy is. Tom Brady. Okay. He always wins championships. He's like the Michael Jordan of football. His team, the New England Patriots, always wins. And he is the quarterback for that team. Okay. I'm going to add another person over here. Okay. A lot of us know this guy that plays tight end. His name is Rob Gronkowski. Okay. And I'm not going to put all the positions up here, because a lot of times in this team, it really doesn't matter sometimes who's all out there, because a lot of the key positions are filled by people that fit. Okay. And here's the guy on the sideline, and his name is Bill Belichick. Okay, hopefully I spelled his name right. Okay, so again, we're talking about position and why position is important, because if you look at this team and I asked you, hey, is this the best team in the NFL in the last decade? You're going to say yes, because it is. They have the right people. We'll go back to this. They got the right people. They have the right product, right? All together, they create an awesome product, a championship caliber team. They have the right processes or plays. Bill Belichick is really good, and the managers are really good at putting together the right playbook to get these guys to win championships, okay? But now, let's talk about position and why position is important. Because what if I did this, okay? What if I said, okay, I'm going to take this team now, and I'm going to take Tom Brady, okay, out of here, okay, Rob out of here, Bill out of here, and I'm going to switch things around, okay? I'm going to have Bill Belichick come here and play tight end, okay? So he's going to run out and catch the ball. I'm going to have Rob Gronkowski. Actually, I take that back. This would make more sense. Let's have Bill come play quarterback. Bill Belichick, okay? And then let's have Tom Brady come play tight end. And then we're going to bring Rob Gronkowski. If anybody knows Rob Gronkowski, he's kind of a party animal. He's pretty crazy, but he's an awesome tight end. He can catch the ball, and he can run, and he can score touchdowns, okay? Now, look at this team and tell me, is this the best team in the NFL in the last decade? You know, is this a championship caliber team? And some of you guys may be saying, you know, no, they're not. But I'll tell you right now, yes, they are. 100% they are. There's only one problem, though. We have the best people. We have an awesome product. We have awesome processes, but the position is out of whack. Okay? The position is out of whack because we have the right people in the wrong places. Okay? So that's why in any given business, guys, sometimes you can have all the right things, all the right people in place, but they're sitting on the wrong seat in the bus. Okay? Just like here, this team would get annihilated by any NFL team, but they have the best quarterback, best coach, right? And best tight end in the game, yet they would still get killed because they are in the wrong positions. So that's why in any business, guys, position is very, very important because you can have the best people, put them in the wrong place, and then you fail, okay? And the good thing about that, guys, is this is all dependent on you, okay? As a business owner and in life in general, guys, you don't point your fingers at anybody. If you put together this team and you put them in these positions and you lose, that's all on you, Mr. or Mrs. Business Owner. That's on you because you're the ones that this is your job as a business owner to know this stuff, to be able to put people in places where they're going to excel. Okay. And I hope this makes sense, guys. And that's why, again, number one, position. That's why position is so important. Okay. Now, how do you know where each person needs to go as far as positions go? So we're going to talk about number two now, and we are going to talk about personality. Okay. So number two is personality. Now this is where things get fun. Again, guys, and this has been a long process for me because I've had to hire and fire people. I've hired people and try to put them in all these different positions, and it never worked out. And I was always confused at why, you know, certain things didn't work out. And in the end, it was on me and continues to be on me to figure this out so that I can provide an environment and a job that my employees can enjoy and excel in. So in order to understand where to put people on the bus or where to put people as far as positions go, you have to understand their personality. Okay. And I wouldn't believe this if I hadn't tried this time and time again. Anytime I've actually messed up with an employee, I've gone against this. Okay. I put people in a position that they shouldn't have been in because I didn't take into consideration their personality. And it's always come back to bite me. Okay. So I'm going to explain to you guys what I use to tell what personality people are. Okay. Because you cannot just tell by sitting in front of somebody what their personality is. I've been doing this so much that sometimes I can guess pretty spot on, but you can get better at it, but you must always rely on data. Okay. So data, I mean, stop putting emotions into the hiring process when you're hiring, because when you put your emotions into it, you may sit across from somebody and you like them, and then you just hire them for that, but you put them in a position that is terrible for them, and they end up being, after a month or two, burning out and not liking their job, and then they end up leaving, which costs you time and which costs you money, which we all know is very, very important. All right, guys, so we're now talking about personality, so let's jump right in. How do we tell what personality somebody is, and why is that important? Okay, so the best way for me to illustrate this, guys, is to show you a diagram here. There is a test that you can take called the DISC personality test. Okay, so and this is the test that I trust. I've been using it for years, for a long time, guys. I've also tried other personality tests, and I found that a lot of them are very, very complex. A lot of them have too much information. Some of them are just all over the place. The one that I love the most is this DISC personality test because it is specific to the workplace, okay? And it is very simple. Again, I love things that are simple to understand. And in all honesty, what solidified this in my mind was the fact that I use this in others, and this is the one that has always been spot on. This has not done wrong for me ever since I started using it back in 2007. Okay, so again, trial and error. I've done it all for you. So let's talk about this DISC test. Okay, so according to this test, again, and this is all backed by science, all these smart people put this together. And I'm glad that they did, because I love it. And it's saved me so much time and so much money in my organizations, because I know what positions to put people in, because I can realize, or I can understand their personality and where that personality fits best in the organization. So let's talk about it really quickly here. So if you look at the diagram here, okay, we have 4 different personalities: dominant, or D, influential; I, S, steady; or C, compliant. Okay. And let's just go one by one and talk about each of these guys. So dominant, direct, decisive, doer, domineering, demanding. A dominant personality is exactly what it is. It's someone who is very dominant. They like things to go the way that they want it to go. They love being the person that's giving the commands. Okay. They like to be the chief. They like to be the one that is totally in charge. Okay. Again, we'll go through all these and I'll tell you which ones go where in an organization. The next you have influential. Okay. Influential. They're inspirational, interactive, interesting, impulsive, irritating. So, I mean, this kind of, it covers the full spectrum, the goods and bads about these different personalities. But in the end, influential people, they love the spotlight. You know, they love being in charge. Okay. They're the ones that are normally great salespeople. Okay. So think about that. Dominant D. Okay. It's a very direct, very dominating a personality. A lot of times for them, it's my way or the highway. For me, I wouldn't hire somebody that's a straight D, okay, unless they had some I in them or some C in them, okay. And that's how this personality test works. You're normally always you normally always have a dominant letter or a dominant personality type, and then you have a secondary, okay. So D's are normally in leadership positions because that's the only ones that they'll excel in, because they don't like taking orders, okay. And if you have somebody that's very high D and nothing else, it's going to be hard to place them in your organization, because they won't want to listen to anyone, especially you, okay. So keep that in mind. But when we're talking about an I, okay, these influential folks, they're people pleasers. They're always worried about how they look. Now these are your salespeople, okay. This is where the money is. As long as there are other personality types around them to bring balance, right, then you'll have a great time with these I personalities. This is where all the fun is in the organization. This is where a lot of the creative minds are in the organization. But again, remember, if all you did was hire I's, and this is what a lot of people do, they'll hire a bunch of I's, and then they'll wonder why it's so fun, but nothing is getting done, okay? So, I mean, just imagine, you know, a room full of Wall Street guys, you know, traders, they're all going crazy, right, having fun and whatnot. That's where you get a lot of I's, okay? And a lot of times, a good personality trait for leaders is honestly is dominant I with D as well, okay, with a pretty high D. That allows people to be they're nice to people, right? They care about people's feelings because of their I side. And then on the D side, they also won't let anybody run them over if somebody comes and challenges them, because they have enough D in them, right, to stand up for themselves, to stand up for the company, and protect what it is that you have in this business, okay? Again, and I'm going through these guys. If you go online and you read about these personality types, it can go even deeper, okay? I'm also going to have you guys take one of these tests, okay, so that you guys can see for yourself what personality trait you are, because it's important, first and foremost, to know where you belong in an organization. And don't be surprised if your type of personality isn't the type that should be running the company, okay? And we'll talk more about that as we go. Okay, let's go move on to dominant S. So if you're an S, okay, first and foremost, these are people that like to be around other people, but they'd rather, they don't initiate the party, if that makes sense. Or they'll be in a crowd, they love being around people, but they don't like being the initiators, right? They love to be in a supportive type role, right? So if you have somebody that's a dominant I, right, the life of the party, right, these S's, they like to surround them, right, and be part of that group. They love being together with people, but again, they're not the ones that are going to initiate something or take charge or, you know, any of that. So they normally are perfect in supportive type roles. Okay. So that is S. Okay. And again, when you guys take this test that I give you, the worst thing you can do is get offended and say, oh, I don't believe this. And no, that's not my personality. I can do everything. You can do that if you want, but in reality, I'll tell you right now that it's good to know where you are and where you would excel in, because then you'll know who to hire first and what type of work you shouldn't even touch. Okay, that's the benefit of knowing personalities and what positions personalities fit into. Let's go into the next, which is the C-type personality. Okay. Um, Now, I am an ID, so I'm dominant I, but my D is right up there with it. Okay, so but my I is my dominant trait, um, and because of that, I love C-type personalities. The reason being is because if you look at this diagram, C-type personalities are directly opposite of me. Okay, if I'm dominant I, right, C is directly opposite of me, and what that means for me is that those are the folks that are really good at things that I am not, or things that I would rather not do. And for that reason, I love hiring C's in my organization, because they're the ones that make me whole, right? Make me a lot more well-rounded, and I don't have to do those C-type C-type tasks, okay? Because I have someone who excels at that and who's great, right? And for those C-type people, they don't have to do any of the I-type stuff. So a C-type, these are the folks that most full-time CPAs or accountants are C's. They love to work by themselves most of the time. They like to have tasks very well spelt out, steps, processes, deadlines, spreadsheets, and they are the implementers of good ideas. Okay, so you get a group of I's together. A lot of times they'll have a lot of great ideas, but nothing will get done because they just talk about it and they have fun. You throw a C into the mix, a C-type personality, and they'll actually take those ideas and make them happen. Okay, because they're the ones that, and this happens all the time in my admin meetings on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm sitting there talking about different ideas or whatnot, while my C-type personality, which is normally one of my assistants, he or she is sitting there and they're making it happen, right? For instance, I can go and say, hey, I wish that, we could have something that can do this for us. I wish we had a software that can alert everybody or all of our customers to let them know when we have a sale. We start talking about these things in meetings, right? And then all of a sudden during that meeting, the C-type personality would say, oh, hey, I got I found three different personality or three different apps, rather, three different types of software that could accomplish just that. This great idea that you guys have, I found the solution to it. Which one do you want? Okay. That is what a C-type personality does. And they take pride in completing things or figuring problems out that everybody else can't figure out. Okay. That's where they get their, that's where they get a lot of their satisfaction from, is from doing those kind of things. Okay. And that's why I love C's. Okay. So for each personality type, and I'll go back to my drawing board so I can show you guys. So for each personality type, there's a certain position that they would fit best in. Okay, so if I say, here are my positions. Okay, I have managers. Okay, I have admin. Okay, or clerical, sales. Okay, and then I have support. Okay, so what personality would fit these roles? Okay, and again, guys, this is what I found hiring and having hundreds and hundreds of people in my organizations. A lot of times when I open up a brick and mortar business, sometimes I'll hire 40 to 50 people to work in that business, and I have to know what their personalities are so that I can put them in the right position. I found that the ones that are the best at managing companies, okay, general managers, right? This is what I found to be the best personality. Okay, an ID, so someone who has a dominant I, but the D it follows right after. Okay, and again, I already explained this, guys, that I personalities are people pleasers, right? They like to make sure that people are okay. that people are happy. Okay. If you're a straight D, you won't care what somebody else thinks. You'll tell them, hey, go fly a kite. You don't like my service or product, go jump off a cliff. And you don't want that in a leadership position, because that's the face of your company most of the time. If I had an ID, they would treat that person a little differently. They'd first, and I'll give you an example. One time, we had a parent of one of our employees come in, and they came to one of my general managers, and she is an ID, okay? But they came to her and they started yelling at her, accusing her of allowing their daughter to date an older person, an older man. And so they're in there and they're arguing they're not arguing, they're yelling at my general manager, and she's an ID. So she sat there and she listened, okay, because of her eye. She listened, didn't yell back, and let them talk. And as soon as they were done talking, she said, you know what? She said, guys, I heard what you're saying. I really apologize that your daughter had to go through this, but why don't we do this, okay? Why don't we, for this purpose, we have surveillance. We have video cameras all over, and some of these allegations and accusations that your daughter is making, she's saying that it happened inside our facility, so why don't we watch, okay? So the parents agreed. They said, okay, let's watch. Okay, now this is when the D comes out. She's not challenging them. She's saying, you know what? That's fine, and I'm glad you brought this up, but check this out, let me give you this. And this is where the D comes in. If she only had an I personality, she would have just said, sorry, what can I do for you? Let me give you, we'll give her 2 weeks off and pay her for all those 2 weeks. And, they can do a lot of different things, call the cops and do all this stuff. But instead, the D stays strong, stands their ground and says, no, let's check this out. So anyhow, they go ahead and watch the surveillance. And guess what we find out? We found out that the daughter was the one that was initiating all of this. It wasn't the man, or it wasn't the older boy. And the boy was probably 2 years older than her, and they were right at that break between teenager and adult. So difficult situation. Needless to say, the parents watched it. They were disgusted, and they walked out. Okay, and they didn't blame they didn't blame our business for anything, because they realized that it was their daughter that was initiating it. But we called the police. They came and took the older adult male, because we had to do that, right? But in that situation, because she's an ID, she was able to handle it the way that it should have been handled. Had she broken down and kind of just gave in and just said, oh, no, you're right, this is all good, we probably would have had a bigger mess on our hand, and possibly even a lawsuit. But because she stood her ground, and she helped the parents realize exactly what happened and found the truth because of her D personality, the whole situation was handled the way it was supposed to, right? And our business was still standing, and everything was still good after that, right? So in any case, that is why, as far as managerial positions go, I normally always try to find someone who has a high I, but also a high D, okay? And the D is normally, the secondary as far as a dominant trait for that person, okay? Let's move on to admin, okay? Admin, clerical. I actually, let me take clerical off. I'm just gonna say admin. So this is like administration. This is like your right-hand people that help you in the business, that will help you run it, okay? And this is where that C-type personality comes in, okay? The ones that, you have all these processes, and you have all of these step-by-step instructions on how things should be getting done inside the business. The C-type personality, or admin person, will make sure that gets done, okay? So I love C-type personalities in there, because they're very good at maintaining processes, managing them, adjusting them, right? When we're in our meetings and we're talking about different problems that come up, that C-type personality is going to say, okay, because of that, we should change this in our process, right? So we're always molding and changing that process to fit our business as we grow, okay? Next personality type for sales, all day, an I personality, okay? And this person can have ID, this person can have something else, but they have to have a dominant I, because here's the thing with I's, guys. And the problem with a lot of companies is that they normally end up hiring I's, because I's are people pleasers, and they're the best at interviewing, right? you have an interview with a C, and I'll tell you right now that it's normally going to be a pretty awkward interview, right? But if you have an interview with an I, they're like a yes man or yes woman. Anything you say, that, oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. No problem. You give them C type work. You say, hey, can you handle this? And they'll say, oh yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Give me the job, right? The problem with that, if we go back to this chart, guys, the problem with that is a lot of times if you have an I type personality that's interviewing for a C type job, okay, you're gonna hire them because you like how they are. They're very happy. They're very pleasing. They're very interactive. They're very fun to talk to, right? So you end up saying, oh, I really like this person. I can see myself working with this person. So let me hire them. You put them in this type of position where they're a C, they're gonna fake it, okay? They're gonna work there for probably a month, sometimes even 2, and then they're gonna hate life because they're gonna realize that this is the stuff that they do not like doing, okay? But again, eyes, they are the master fakers. They can fake anything. They can do anything just because they're very good at selling, and especially selling themselves. And because of that, a lot of people make the mistake of hiring just eyes, okay? I hope this is making sense, guys. So anyhow, let's go back here. And now when we're talking about support roles, okay, these are where our S's and sometimes C's will come into play. I like an SC or straight S's. Okay, guys, this is, again, when you first start your business, though, you're going to be your own Swiss Army knife. You're going to be all of these positions, right? You're going to be everything. You're going to have to make up all of this. But as soon as you're able to, the important thing is figuring out what you are in this spectrum so that you can first and foremost hire the opposite from you to make your organization whole, okay? And as you go along, you're going to start hiring a bunch of different personalities depending on what position you're talking about, right? Whether they be managers, admin, sales, support, right? There are a lot of other positions, but normally all the positions are sub positions to these ones, right? So in the end, guys, what I want you to do is take the test, find out what your type is. And again, I'm going to say this, guys, and I see it too many times. People take this test and then they get offended by it. And getting offended doesn't do anything for anybody. The truth is really, really, really freeing because I don't care what type of personality you are. Okay. If I'm a C, I take this test and I find out that I'm a C. I can sit there and say, no, I'm not a C. I'm an I. People love me. I'm a people person. But again, this is a test for a work environment, okay? And if you're a C in a work environment, then you should probably be doing C-type work. And your first hire, more than likely, is going to be a I, okay? A salesperson. Because I'll tell you right now, again, and people always fight me on this, if you're a C-type personality, you better not be out there trying to sell, okay? Yeah, you might close a sale here and there, but I'll tell you right now that if you had an I, they'd close 10, 20, 30, 40 times more sales than you can ever in your life. And guys, this isn't a knock on anybody's personality and who they are. It's not a knock at all. It's just, hey, we're all created and we all a little differently. We all have a different personality. And that's the beautiful thing about life. And that's the beauty of an organization, because it should have all different types of personalities and be very diverse in order for you to accomplish a lot, okay? Because again, if all you did was have C's in an organization, you're gonna have problems. If all you did was have D's, you'd have a problem. S's, you'd have a problem, okay? So keep that in mind, guys, when you're going through this. I am gonna add a link here for you guys to take the test. Go ahead and take that test and then save the results, okay? The one I'm adding on here, it's a free one. If I were you, I would suggest going and finding a paid version of this test. And it'll give you a lot more in-depth information after you take it on what exactly you are. When you take this test, do not fake it, guys. Read all the examples before you start answering, before you start picking which one is most like you and least like you. Be honest, trust your gut. A lot of times you'll read all of the examples or all the statements, and they'll all be like you or all be not like you, but just trust your gut. Pick the ones that you feel are most and least like you at first glance. Trust your gut, and then it'll be, then the results will come out the best, okay? If you lie to it, it's going to give you the wrong result, and you're going to assume that you're something that you're really not, okay? And by the time and this is science, guys. By the time you are an adult, 18 or over, whatnot, normally your personality is going to stick. Okay. There was a scientist out there that was claiming that you can train yourself to be a different personality. And again, if you want to spend years trying to do that, that's up to you. For me, I love just accepting what it is that you are, embracing it, and seeing the beauty in it. Because in every single personality here, guys, there's a lot of beauty. There's a lot of power in each one of them, and there's a very important role, because one without the other doesn't work, guys. And a lot of times, if you don't have this well-rounded organization, it is going to fail because you're trying to do things that you don't excel at. Okay. And again, you are the business owner. You are in charge of knowing this so that you can put people in the right positions because of their personality, right, to excel. Okay. And trust me, guys, I've done this before and I've messed it up before. You know, there's a time when I was doing sales, you know, I'm the I was doing sales for my company, and I hired another I because I loved her and she was awesome, you know, and she did a great job, you know, at selling me during the interview. But here was the problem: because I was taking that sales role, I tried to put her in this role over here, a C type role, an S type role, a D type role, and she didn't excel in it, you know, and I couldn't find a place to put her. And now, you know, looking back, I realized that she should have been doing what I was doing. She should have been doing sales. But because I didn't do my homework and understand this, I put her in a lot of different positions. And over a year, guys, I tried, and it just never fit and it never stuck. And again, because she was an I, she tried her best to do everything. She told me that she can do everything. And then I ended up having to fire her because I didn't have a place for her that she could actually get the job done. And it was shortly after that that I started searching for this kind of information and data, and that's why I found this. So I was thankful for that situation, because it helped me realize that I needed to I needed to figure it out so that I didn't have to go through that. And that was the first time I had to really fire somebody, and it was hard. I remember crying because I really liked, you know, she was an awesome person, and she did too. She cried, she said, "Mo, I'm so sorry." And I just never wanted to have that feeling again. And that's why I searched and researched and researched and researched for this type of data, so that I can figure out how I can hire people and never put them in that type of position where I'm trying to have them do things that they do not fit into. Okay. So in any case, guys, that is personality. The number two thing that I check out when I hire people. So I make sure that the position that I'm hiring for, I hire for that certain type of personality. Okay, so if I'm hiring for a manager, I don't even interview anybody that's not an ID. Okay, and I'll explain why that saves so much time. Take the test, guys, and we'll jump right into the next one, which is loyalty. All right, thanks, guys.